My name is Joshua Kasprzak. I'm one of the founding members of Texas Star Propane. We started the business back in 2009 out of a garage apartment in Cypress, Texas. Fast forward to 2011, we moved into our first rented building, little storefront, hired our first employee, and then in 2016 bought 7 acres, built a new building, and continued to grow the business from there. In 2019, we expanded to a second location. Main location's out of Plantersville, Texas. Second location is in Huntsville, Texas, and just continue to grow the business. Great competitive pricing, great customer service, and was very excited to obviously have the opportunity to continue to grow, hire more people, promote from within. And in 2022-ish, we had been approached by a long-term person in the industry, a gentleman named Matt Terry, grown up in the industry out of San Antonio, Texas. His family had a company down there, and he's worked in all aspects of the propane world. And so him and a longtime friend had started a company called Matador Gas. And with knowing Matt in the industry for a long time, we started having conversations with them. And in July of 2023, we actually teamed up with Matt and Matador Gas and become the first platform business for Matador Gas. And so really excited with having the opportunity to do that back in July of 2023. And since then, we've had 5 separate acquisitions throughout Texas and up into Arkansas. And we've started 2 greenfield locations, and we're just continuing to grow.
Wow. That's interesting. I didn't realize you guys had that much growth going on, and that many acquisitions. So that's definitely interesting to hear about. I was going to ask you about what your path looked like. Since we named you a rising leader back in 2019, it sounds like you've been pretty busy. But when you look at everything you've done, since that time, how would you summarize that?
I have no clue whoever nominated me, but I was very honored to have the nomination and be able to be in the magazine and talk with you a few years ago and stuff. And so post Matador in 2023 and where we're at today in 2026, I'm the executive vice president of sales and marketing for Matador. So from anything to do with grassroots marketing, local, at each branch, whether it's a postcard that gets mailed out or knocking on doors, giving out flyers to potential customers, to dealing with all the behind the scenes of Google ads and Google advertising, and anywhere in between. So been pretty excited to take on that role for Matador. And excited to see, what I've learned, obviously, because it was just Joel and myself with Texas Star Propane for almost 15 years before us teaming up with Matador, was, we had what we assumed and knew of were best practices within our business organization, as well as demographics. And so as we've acquired other companies throughout Texas and up into Arkansas, it's just been very interesting to see. Some of these businesses have been around 60 years and some of them have been around 10 years. And so very broad range of what other companies have done to become successful. So what we like to say is, from the inception of Matador and Texas Star in 2023 to now, taking best practices of all locations and let's see what works the best, and grow it from there. And so, the big thing we have also realized is what might work very, very well in San Antonio, Texas, might not work the best over, up in Izard County in northern central Arkansas. And so it's just that's been intriguing for me because, again, the Texas Star market's northwest of Houston, Texas, about an hour. And so being in other markets throughout several states has really allowed me to step back and be like, okay, cool. This is something that they're doing amazing up here in Arkansas. Let's try to implement it down here in Texas and vice versa.
Yeah, that's got to be a big change for you. Starting out just focused on Texas Star, and that was it. Your co-owner at the time, and just really, as far as your leadership was focused on one company. But now, when expanding into all these multiple companies in that realm, I guess that does change your path and maybe the leadership that you're showing in the process.
Absolutely, and I'm excited to take on the challenge. It's been a fun ride so far, and looking forward to getting these other acquisitions across the line in the very near term, and see what how they operate, what they do for marketing, and again take best practices and implement them at other locations as well.
Maybe delving into the leadership qualities a little more, what does that look like for you? What do you feel like you're utilizing the most as far as your leadership qualities and your own skills, maybe that you weren't doing as much from the beginning?
I would say just me personally, I'm a people person, and so I can step into any location. I hold an executive vice president title, so I think some people naturally are nervous to be around me, or the guy from the corporate office is in town, if you will. We've got to be on our best behavior. So I respect that, and I understand that, but just we're all human at the end of the day. We're all here to sell propane and gain new customers and provide the best customer service possible. So for me to step in and talk to local branch managers, local CSRs, I like that, because I just take it as we're in the people business approach. And one CSR might be struggling, qualifying customers the right way. So a few months ago, coming into 2026, I got put in charge of heading up a CSR training program. So we're in a development stage of it, but really trying to get all current locations rowing in the same direction. And so again, from Texas to Arkansas, I thoroughly enjoy being out on the road, seeing those locations, meeting those folks, getting to know them. What has worked in your propane location that I never knew about, and then talking to them also on, hey, here's what's worked great for us for many years. And the best thing I like about it too is whenever you have a seasoned person like myself in the industry, we always kind of joke back and forth that, well, yeah, we've always done it right over here. Like, you must be doing the same thing. And they'll say the same thing. Yeah. Why would you bring that over here in, this market? Because we've always done it right. So it's good camaraderie. You always know and assume and think you have all the right answers. But once you really get into that good, fun conversation, it makes it where everyone's like, okay, well, man, that's a really good idea. Let me try that over here, and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I feel like, your leadership has really taken on a whole nother journey, I guess, just because of where the company has gone, since we last talked. What about just advice for young leaders, someone in the industry getting started that, aspires to be where you are? What would you say to the young leaders out there?
the industry is always evolving, and so when you step off into it, really listen and really set focus on learning more and more of what is going on in the industry, from just local delivery to software. AI is starting to become a big thing, and so we're looking at that, for the operation of what can we do to provide the best customer service, at the best pricing, as far as not pricing ourselves out of the market, but provide the best customer service, very competitive pricing, and again, have the knowledge that when a customer calls in, you're not trying to Google or flip back through books or whatever to get the answer. Again, I've been doing this almost 17 years, and almost weekly, I'm still learning something new that I caught from a general manager, or a local branch manager, or being in a location, talking to a service guy. We've always joked of, like, the most simple thing 15 years ago, 16 years ago when we started, converting a stove or a dryer was easy. You're in and out in less than 45 minutes, and that's talking to the customer and getting them to pay you for the bill. Um, Learning recently over the last couple years from just other service guys in the field doing it daily. These dryers and these stoves and these conversions, man, it's taken them hours. It's all computerized, and they have to break down half the dryer or the stove just to convert it from natural gas to propane. So, learn as much as you can, get qualified, get certified, and when you've got an older person in the industry that's been doing it for a long time, take advice from them. I've got a handful of mentors that are in the industry that we still stay in contact, and reaching out to them. That's been doing it for double of the time that I have. That goes a long ways.
I also wanted to ask you too about, what you like to do away from the office.
I just celebrated my 17th wedding anniversary, and my wife and I have three kiddos, two boys and a girl, 12 years old, 7 and 6. And we spend a lot of family time together. Kids are growing up so fast right in front of our eyes. So we have a place out on Lake Livingston that we spend a lot of quality family time together, fishing, riding jet skis, just sitting at the boat dock. That right there has been a very big blessing for myself and my family to thoroughly enjoy that. I do like to golf. I'm not the best at it, so if you ever if we're ever around each other and we have an opportunity to golf, I can definitely have a good time and drink some beer with you, but not great at the golf game. And I only really get to do it once or twice a year, but I do love hunting, and normally I'll head out to Southwest Texas, where a good friend of mine's got a place over in the hill country out in Rock Springs, and getting out there and just getting away, decompressing, turning the cell phone off, and hunting is what I thoroughly enjoyed it to do as well.